There's a lot of people who may or may not know they're in big financial trouble. As you know, the markets are crashing. Our debt to GDP ratios are now like 125%. It's never been this high. We're the biggest debtor nation in the world, and people are in trouble. I don't really know what's going to happen, but something has to give. You just cannot keep printing money to solve financial problems. Would you say that the stock market's in trouble right now and the bond market?
Oh, 100%. And that's just not my opinion. I mean, that's my analysis, and that's the opinion of so many other people. We are in a storm right now, headed to a hurricane, a tsunami. Things are not going to get better anytime soon, and people really need to prepare. And there's two things that I look at closely. One is the savings rate and the credit card usage rate. Savings rates are dropping hysterically, and credit card usage is skyrocketing. And that's always been a forecast for the future of what we're headed towards.
So if, let's say you're 65 years old, you're set to retire, you have a 401k, what would you say to that person?
Well, I'd be very, very nervous right now. I mean, there's no place to hide. The stock market's crashed and will continue to crash. We're looking at a bond bubble bursting. Crypto's gone down. Even gold has been in the red. And so it's a really challenging time right now to be that 65-year-old wondering, hey, I want to retire, but how am I going to do that on my 401k assets? And this analysis of this, not an analysis, it's a fact that Social Security is going to be running out by 2034. We're looking at the perfect storm. So people must get proactive right now. They cannot just bury their head in the sand, as I've seen so many people do.
Well, one more thing. Let's say you're a 30-year-old and you're saying, oh, I got a high-paying job and I got a 401k. What would you say to them?
On this show, many times, I've defended the 401k, not because it's a great retirement vehicle. It's because it's really the only retirement vehicle most people have. It was never designed to be the sole retirement vehicle for people. It was meant to be a supplement to people's pensions. But now the pensions are basically gone away. Companies aren't offering them anymore. And those that do are really curtailing the benefits. So now the 401k is really the sole retirement vehicle for most people. So if you're 30, I would definitely take advantage of it. But what I would be doing is educating myself to create my own passive income, building assets that generate cash flow. You cannot rely on your employer for your financial future.
Yeah, basically what you're saying is get active and not get proactive. And that's what the whole Rich Dad Company was founded for, was for those of you who want to learn how to be a capitalist, basically, how to manage your own frickin' money. Why turn it over to an idiot? I never understood that.
I tell this to everybody. The first thing they should be doing is playing the cash flow game. There's no better way to build context over what you want to do in your life and really understand how the system works. That, I would just play that over and over and over again. That is a game changer, especially right now.
Right, thank you. Because the reason Kim and I created the cash flow board game was to awaken your financial genius, because everybody's smart when it comes to money. I mean, I was talking to a 5-year-old kid, and the kid knew the difference between a $1 bill and a $5 bill. I mean, the guy could count, which I can't say for most people. But if you awaken your financial genius, greed is good. I mean, getting rich is fun. It's the most fun game I play. And the reason I like it is because markets go up and markets go down. It's like life. And it's just real life. So awaken your financial genius and take control of your financial future. So that's what happened for me, was that when having a rich dad and a poor dad, I saw my poor dad, a PhD from Stanford and Chicago and University of Northwestern. He was just so content to have a PhD and a job and a government pension, which the government pension is kind of a defined benefit plan where you guaranteed a paycheck for life. That's defined benefit. And that's why so many people are government employees, which is why our government's going broke. Because we got all these people who get a government job for the defined benefit pension plan. We all know that. We all know you're cowards. And, you just want to be told what to do and have somebody take care of you, give you a bottle of milk, no baby formula in it, unfortunately, but you're sucking on the nipple of the government, and the government's broke. That's a defined benefit pension plan. So, Sarah, what do you think so far? As a young person, if I told you I'll give you a 401k, what would you say?
It's so risky. You have no control.
That's the word. You have no control.
Yeah. So I would much rather have control over my investment. And I think that's the thing I see in this generation is I'm at the older end of a millennial, I'm just outside of a millennial, but they're so into instant gratification. They like that, like for example, crypto. They like it because you can buy it now and, for a long time it went up.
Yeah.
And so they were making all this money and becoming these crypto millionaires. And they're learning hard lessons today, which your generation has learned before. You've seen ups and downs in market crashes. And I think that's something a younger generation just doesn't see. And so they don't believe it until they actually experience it. And I think we're headed into a time where they're going to experience it.
Well, I think in the baby boom generation, they're out of time. So your generation still has time. There's a very big difference because time is a big factor in this whole thing. So it's good. The crypto guys are learning it early. But the problem with our generation, my generation, was we came of age around, let's say, 1970. Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, and all we knew was a boom economy. Even right after 2008, they just printed more money and it kept booming. But that's why I said our debt to GDP is now 125%. That means for every dollar we bring in, we're spending, we can't cover, our tax dollars can't cover it. So they keep borrowing more money. Not really borrowing more money, but kind of propping the market up. Yeah. And now we're at the end of the line. And John, all markets boom and all markets bust. But this could be the biggest bust in world history. It's a global bust. We might have a global depression again. So what did you start doing differently?
Even JP Morgan, the head of JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, said, we are headed for a hurricane, not a storm, a hurricane. So things are really going to get ugly. And our debt to GDP at 125, that's not much further behind Venezuela, whose average citizen is 19 pounds underweight because there's no food. So we are headed towards that. So to answer your question, what I'm doing is I'm 100% cash. I've moved completely out of the market. Having said that, I do generate cash flow by trading options. It's a very successful strategy that I've incorporated. I have my books, my online course, and speaking is now starting to pick up. So I have other sources of revenue. I don't work for a paycheck. I haven't worked for a paycheck in 15 or 20 years now. But I am extremely proactive. And I'm always educating myself all the time, as you are, Robert.
Right.